Hello beautiful people and welcome to Cooking with Pat Lee. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make hoagie rolls with just a few simple ingredients. But before we get into it, please click on that subscribe button so you can get the latest updates on my recipes and cooking techniques. Don't want to keep you waiting, let's get to cooking. To get our dough ready takes a few key steps, but don't worry, I'm going to walk you through it all. The first step is to add some bread flour to a mixing bowl. I want about as smooth of a dough as I possibly can get, so I put that flour through a fine mesh strainer and gave it a good old shake. This gives me about 4 1/4 cups of flour to the bowl. And once that's all added in, go ahead and toss in 1 teaspoon of fine sea salt, about 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, followed by getting 1 1/2 cups of water to a temperature of 100 to 103 degrees. With that, I'm going to add about 2 packets or about 1.5 tablespoons of rapid rise instant yeast. It's pretty warm in my household, so that makes for the perfect temperature for that yeast to rise. If your bubbles come out looking like this, then your yeast is good to go. If not, your yeast is expired and you should probably get some new packets immediately. Next, I want to get all of those dry ingredients mixed in. This ensures that the salt and sugars are easily distributed in the bread once put together. Adding your yeasty water mixture and let it knead for about 5 to 6 minutes. Use a plastic spatula to help that flour get mixed into the bowl and continue bringing that dough together. Now, if you're kneading by hand, don't worry, just go about 6 to 8 minutes. It should come out looking like this. Now we want that dough to rise, but first get a large enough bowl oiled up to place it in. You want to make sure that the environment you keep this dough in is warm, so I'd recommend a preheated oven at its lowest setting or on top of your fridge. It's the winter time and my apartment is warm all day because of the heat, so I'll just leave this covered on the countertop for about an hour. After an hour, we see that the dough has doubled up in size. Let's sprinkle some flour onto our work surface so we can continue working it into a ball. Next, divide these up into 4 equal pieces. I use the food scale to weigh out the dough to about 1.7 kilograms, which is about 1,700 grams. But if you don't have a scale, do your best to eyeball the cuts evenly. Once you have each individual ball rolled out, flatten them with a rolling pin. Once you get them to an even enough circular shape, you want to tuck and roll. Think of rolling it like a... Yeah, you know. yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But make sure you crimp the edges and the dough towards the top to prevent it from falling apart when proofing and eventually baking. Next, you want to go ahead and roll it out with your palms into an oblong-like shape. Pinch the edges out and do this for all 4 of your dough balls. We're just going to take a brief moment to clean our work surface and help restore some order to this mess. I'm big on preparation, but also order in the kitchen. A clean kitchen brings peace of mind and clarity. What do y'all think? Now that our work surface is clean, I'm going to take a baking sheet coated in cornmeal and then I'm going to place each hoagie roll onto the tray. When it starts to proof, that dough is going to expand into that cornmeal, giving a nice corn flavor to that roll. For this step, I'm covering it in plastic wrap and enough kitchen towels to keep the entire tray covered. This is going to proof for about an hour as well. After an hour, this again will double in size, and by this time, you want to first preheat your oven to 450 degrees. Using a blade or a really sharp knife, cut slits however you choose to cut. I did a couple of tri-cuts and a couple of side slits, but this gives some character to the dough to come out looking store-bought, or at least it does in my humble opinion. Brush these with egg wash to give it some color, but with the egg white instead of the yolk just to help it toast, but keep the traditional color of the roll intact. Then I added some sesame seeds to the tops and a little more cornmeal for that finishing touch. This next step is crucial to get that crust looking righteous on the hoagie roll. While you're preheating your oven, simply add a cast iron pan to the bottom rack. Add ice, and as soon as that steam begins to build, add your hoagie tray to the middle rack and bake for about 20 minutes. You can remove the cast iron after the first few minutes, but the end result is a beautiful brown toasted roll made to perfection. Now I went ahead and made myself a delicious chicken kale Caesar salad with some crispy Katsu style chicken thighs and a house-made Caesar dressing. For the dressing, I simply took 2 teaspoons of anchovy paste, 1 1/2 cups of mayonnaise, preferably Duke's, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, some salt and pepper to taste, 4 cloves of minced garlic, the juice of 1 lemon, and 2 whole egg yolks. Now whisk that together and add just about a touch or 2 of olive oil. The result is a luscious and almost velvety dressing that takes this sandwich to the next level. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so I can keep teaching you beautiful people how to cook. My website is linked to the description where you can find all of my latest recipes. Make sure you subscribe for more recipes like these, and until the next time we feast, peace.